I think police officers kneeling on someone's neck for 9 minutes is a completely
that's
separate
interesting.
incident.
What was
than
George Floyd's cause of death?
Asphyxiation.
They say Charlie Kirk is a racist. Is he? Well, this is Nnamdi. Welcome back to Config TV. So, we are going to look into this issue of Charlie Kirk being a racist, whether he's a racist or not. You know, many on the left have come out to say that he was a racist. But I'm going to share my own opinion as a black and African man as to how I see Charlie Kirk. I have followed him. I have known him since, 2017 or so, when he was hanging out with people like Candace Owens and Officer Tatum. I have followed him closely and all that. So in this video, I am going to share my own opinion, and also point out why the left is calling him a racist. I don't know if they actually meant that or they were doing it for a political purpose, but that is by the way. I am going to give my 2 cents and then we shall see how we go on from there. But meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. It really helps me to grow this channel. It really helps me, kind of to advance my agenda and speak my opinion. So I will need you to subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell so that anytime I release a new video, you will be one of those to receive it, and like and share as well. Do not forget about that. So with that being said, I'm going to show you a video, partly a video of Charlie Kirk, because the reason the people on the left were saying that he was a racist is partly because of the comments that he made concerning George Floyd and many other ones, but I think this one is one of the major ones where they said that he was a racist, that he said nasty things about it. So, but I'm going to show you a video that where he talked about George Floyd. He talked about the reason why he died and all that. He actually had this debate with somebody. So I'm going to share the video. Then after watching it, I will come back again and I will, kind of, give my own, observation and commentary about it. So let's watch it together. When we come back, we will talk more about it.
Police officers kneeling on someone's neck for 9 minutes is a completely
that's
separate
interesting.
incident.
What was
than
George Floyd's cause of death?
Asphyxiation.
Actually, the original medical report by the Hennepin County Examiner said that it was a drug overdose. Did you know that?
But that was hired by the state. An independent coroner reported
It's
that it was
interesting.
asphyxiation.
You might be right, but if you guys love truth, you should go and dive into the Derek Chauvin court documents. There's a lot more to the George Floyd situation than anyone ever told you. It really is, and it's a great video. And I'm not even, you might be right, but there's so much more to that circumstance of George Floyd that was overdosing on drugs, right? That also, did you know that what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd was actually in the police manual training? It was completely justified and was trained by his superiors to do. Now, let me ask you a question. How many unarmed black people, on average, are killed by police a year?
Well, I'd have to look up that.
I saw a clip somewhere that you were trying to get the officer who murdered George Floyd pardoned, and I just want to know what your reasoning was about that.
Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
But he had his knee on his neck, and we all saw the video.
But the knee on the neck is actually an approved police technique that police departments taught Derek Chauvin to use. Do you know that George Floyd was saying, "I couldn't breathe," well before that restraining technique? And
so why'd they use the technique if he already couldn't breathe?
Well, because he was actually resisting arrest, and they had to restrain him and they restrained him in a way that they were taught to do, which is the knee on the neck technique.
Okay, so when does the like technique end? Like when they die? Like he said, he couldn't.
No, I mean the technique ends when the individual stops resisting arrest. His cause of death was not asphyxiation; it was drug overdose. He had
that was a part of it. Like he also had a heart like thing, and like he was on drugs. But like he wouldn't have just died if he was standing there. Like they had his.
Well,
their knee on
actually,
his
there's an
neck.
argument to be made. According to the medical examiner, he was drug overdosing in real time. That it wasn't because of the police officer, Derek Chauvin, that put his knee on the neck. And again, they were taught to do that. According to the Hennepin County Police Department, they teach that as an approved restraint technique. And by the way, this is just a broader point. Our whole country blew up because of this incident, and it was largely based on a lie. Largely based on a lie. We were all
What was the lie?
The lie is that there was a white police officer that went after a black person just because he was black, and it just wasn't true. He was resisting arrest.
Okay, but he killed him. Like that doesn't.
Well, again, the county medical examiner disagrees. The county medical examiner in the original report.
So then why did he get sentenced?
Exactly.
Like,
That's a good
no,
question.
I'm saying
It's because it was largely a show trial where actually they were not allowed to submit
what
evidence.
trial?
A show trial. A show trial is an example where you put people on display or a show for a political purpose or political means. And this is an example of that, where Derek Chauvin was not given a fair hearing in this trial. He was not even allowed to use the police training handbook in his trial to show that he was taught to use that restraining technique.
Okay, so what do you want to happen to Derek Chauvin? Like,
Pardon.
so he's just free? What is that?
Yes.
What message does that send to like?
It should be. It's a message that you should get an actual fair trial and that you're not going to get a trial by media.
So now you have watched the video, and in my own opinion, I've always said in my own opinion, because I'm only one man, one person, as an African and as a black man, what I observed from that video is just that I see a man that doesn't mince word. I see a man that tell it as it is, at least what he thinks about a situation, about a kind of an issue, regardless of the person that is involved, the color of the person that is involved. You know, I understand this this culture in the United States where a certain race, if a certain race commits a crime or does something, the white person don't usually, feel comfortable talking about the issue, or at least saying what is in their mind. But I think Charlie Kirk was honest about what he thinks. And from what I understand, what do you call him? George Floyd. He was arguing that George Floyd did not die as a result of the policeman kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes. That he was already overdosed on drugs. He was even overdosed in real time before the incident, when he was about to be arrested and he was resisting arrest, and the cop had to subdue him by putting his knee on his neck, which resulted to his death eventually. So now, I am not saying that what the cop did was right. It was never right. In fact, it sends a bad signal and gave the mob and everyone that intended to do something, something evil or something like criminal, to just do it, because of that was a perfect excuse and a perfect thing for them, for them to go on the street and unleash hell on the street. That was not a good picture. That was not a good, because this was on camera. People, video recorded. It was recorded on videos and all that. So you will never see a person being knelt on his neck for 9 minutes for you not to be outraged. Everyone that has a heart should be outraged. That was very wrong. But the argument here is that what the policeman did was not out of what police do when somebody is resisting arrest. And probably if George Floyd was not overdosed on drugs, probably he might not have died from that incident. But because his health was already compromised, and with that, he died. But the problem I have with this is that the left and those that support, that unleash mayhem, that call, kind of saying that what they did, that support George Floyd, they never talk about the other side of what could have probably, caused the death of George Floyd. But they were only saying about the cop, the cop, the cop, the cop. So when you talk about the cop kneeling down on his neck, what could have actually, helped to cause him to die? So that's what I say. And from all his arguments, he was reasonable, he was rational in his argument. I mean, Charlie Kirk with his whoever that he was debating there with. He was rational, and I don't see any racism in his remarks or his comments, in my own opinion. And probably because I don't see things through the lens of racism. Probably he could have even criticized any other person or any white person that might have been in the same position with George Floyd. He might have. You understand? So, and he was arguing that Derek Chauvin, who was the cop that was used as a scapegoat for political reasons, because he was not allowed to defend himself. He was not allowed in the court to do certain things. His right was taken away from him, and he was sentenced. He was imprisoned for that, despite the fact that that was what he actually did was the textbook of how they, approach somebody that is violent and resisting arrest. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that in all these things, Charlie Kirk, to me, is not a racist. I don't know what you think. You have your right to your own opinion. I have mine. And as I see it, Charlie Kirk is not a racist. I think he's a realist. He's somebody that says it as it is, and it rub off some people on the wrong way and in a wrong way because of the way he says things. Some people, they call it what is that? How do they usually call it? Call it political correct PC. It's just like Donald Trump that doesn't kind of dress his talk, his speech, dress it in a certain way that is going to be accepted by some certain people. He says it as it is. So that is my own take there concerning Charlie Kirk. Whether or not he is a racist, he is not a racist. You can argue about that. He is not a racist. Because if he was a racist, he would not have anything to do with other black people. He had actually helped other people, other races. All he sees is humanity. All he sees is good and evil. All he sees is, common sense. That's what I think. And therefore, those that call him racist, they are actually wrong. Charlie Kirk is not a racist. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring this to an end, and I'll be expecting your comments in the comment section below. Whatever you think about this issue, do not contemplate to drop your comment in the sections in this comment section. And also, once again, please do subscribe to this channel, like and share it, okay, and click the notification bell. All right, thank you very much, for I know you are going to help me do just that. So bye bye for now, and remain blessed. Bye.